Welcome everyone to another Nikken brand night. My name is Sherry Danzig, and I would like to extend a warm welcome to everyone for joining us tonight. Every Wednesday, we offer a short and informative presentation that's designed to introduce you to the Nikken brand. And we explore how our products can profoundly impact your well-being. And you'll see why so many of us have chosen to align with Nikken for our wellness solutions. Whether you're new to Nikken or you've been around for a while, you're going to find value, I know, tonight in particular, but every Wednesday you do, from things that are shared, stories that will be shared. So let's embark on this journey to better health and just a better life altogether. So tonight, the focus is going to be specifically on our air wellness technology, and you've got a great person that's going to introduce you. But before we get started, you see this slide that Liliana has up on the screen here. So we want to just talk a minute about the real big picture of our Nikken brand is the wellness home. And the wellness home is a way to create a safe haven at home that can be away from all of the stress that's out there, um, all of the polluted environments, everything that we suffer from because of our modern living. So the wellness home is designed to enrich us with connecting us to Mother Nature and to support better health and increased vitality so that it promotes more balance and well-being from within. So without further ado, let me introduce you to our speaker tonight, which is Dr. Liliana Warner, who's been a chiropractor for 18 years. I can't believe it's been that long because I knew you right from the beginning. She is the founder of Lotus of Life Chiropractic, which is in Decatur, which is a kind of a neighborhood within Atlanta. And I was just informed that Liliana's office was voted as the best chiropractic practice in Decatur, which is fabulous and a big deal because there's quite a few chiropractors in Decatur, right?
Yeah.
So I love that your approach is not simply doing the facilitating the adjustments, but also being an educator. And it really comes through with the way that you refer to your not patients, but participants. And I often talk about that because I think that's this whole mindset that you bring to uh, people taking responsibility for their health. And that's very much the Nikken way of being is to take responsibility and choose to live a wellness lifestyle, not to take it for granted. So, and I know we met very early on in your practice. I don't think you've been practicing maybe even for a whole year at that point.
Yeah,
I don't
pretty
think so.
early.
Pretty early on. And so pretty quickly, Liliana embraced the Nikken technologies and has continued to, as Nikken has continued to um, unfold different product technologies. And I think, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but I think that the air filtration system is probably one of your favorites because I know you've got a bunch of them in your office and where you adjust and the main lobby and so forth. So please take it away, Dr. Liliana.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sherry. I appreciate it. And always fun to be here. And as Sherry said, from the perspective we take at my chiropractic office at my wellness center, and as she said, we do a lot of education because health comes from within, but we can only create that health by creating healthy environments around us. That's really why I love the Nikken products so much because they truly support that. And that really is their mission to help us create healthy lives. And so that really supports my participants in an active way. So without further ado, we're going to dive into information about air. And so, really, something that people don't realize we all know about outside air and how dangerous and polluted that can be. And earlier, I was speaking with someone, and they were talking about how even when you're on a farm, for example, that the air can be really polluted. And so, really, no matter where you are, you're getting pollution of different sorts. But when we go inside the home, the interesting fact is that that can actually be much more polluted than the air outside because it doesn't circulate very much. And so on the left here of this image, you see a list of symptoms of poor indoor air quality, things like headaches, eye irritation, fatigue, dry throat, sinus congestion, dizziness, nausea. These are just some of the symptoms that the EPA lists as poor IAQ symptoms. And so you could really have, you could think you have a cold or think you have allergies, and really it could just be the air inside your home where you think you're safe. So the rest of the image lists, I'm not going to go through all these, but lists a whole bunch of the reasons that this is true. And as we go through talking about air purifiers over the next couple minutes here, you're really going to get a feel for why this matters. Okay, so important basics to know when you're looking for an air filtration device. So definitely a portable unit is going to be best, not something stuck in a corner of the house, but something that can move around as needed. And you can take on vacation if you like. That's what I do. So also you want it to be a HEPA filter. So high efficiency filtration is always recommended. So less than 0.3 microns. And that's really so that it can get the smallest types of particles possible. You also want to look for an activated carbon filter to handle gases. This is a big one. If you look on the EPA's site for recommendations for what to look for in a filter, this is one of their highlighted points. So this is really, really important. And a lot of machines don't have that. So this is a really big one. You really want to look for that HEPA filter and the activated carbon filter. You also want to avoid air filters that deliberately produce ozone. So sometimes those are called ozone generators or ionizers, and they tout them as that as a positive thing, but it's not. It's dangerous. You definitely don't want that. That's outlawed in many places, including California. And so you want to avoid that at all costs, even though they're making it sound really pretty and like a good thing. You also, of course, want it to be cost effective. And you want it to be quiet because nobody wants something, roaring loudly in the corner, cleaning their air all the time, even if it's effective. So you don't want to notice it all the time. And when you do notice it, you want it to be subtle, handle the thing, and then be quiet again, like a good machine does in the corner of your room. You also want it to be easy to operate and easy to maintain. So those are kind of the highlights of what you're looking for in any air filtration device you get. So the KenkoAir purifier is our solution to that at Nikken. And so here are the different specs about the KenkoAir purifier. So it is a multiple stage filtration that captures up to 99.97% of 0.3 micron particles. So that's what was recommended with the EPA. So this also includes an activated carbon filter. So that's really important. The KAP or KenkoAir purifier is patented to generate negative ions. This is something we haven't discussed yet. So if you're not familiar with negative ions, this is what gives you that great feeling you get naturally when you're in a forest or by a waterfall or near the ocean. And so you really want that extra oomph in your air to feel good, not just be clean, but really feel like you're in nature, in really clean air in nature. And the issue typically is that most machines that produce negative ions, which is like negatively charged ions, they're a positive thing, that negatively charged, is they also produce ozone, most machines. So you really have to watch for that. Nikken's machine, the KenkoAir purifier, does not produce ozone, but it does produce negative ions. So that's one of my favorite parts of this machine. It also has a pre-filter that's reusable, so you can take it out as often as you need and clean it out. It has the outer filters that are replaceable, and then it's made from recyclable materials because Nikken by nature by their mission, is really focused on making this as natural as possible, both for you and for the planet. The pre-filter I want to comment on just a little bit more. This is really good if you're in a high traffic area, like for example, I have them in my office. So we have patients, participants coming in and out, all day, every day. And you don't usually in an environment like that, it gets dusty and dirty really fast. And ours does not. We have one in the lobby, we have one in each treatment room, each adjustment room. And we really can tell the difference. In emergencies, sometimes I've sent them home with a patient or sent it home with a staff member, and we can always tell when we're missing one, even though we have multiple in the space. So that's really important. This is also wonderful if you have pets, because the dander and the fur from the pets will clog a machine typically or wear down the filter faster. But by having this pre-filter that you can take out and clean regularly, it makes the filters last longer than they would in a traditional machine. So that's really a perk there. So we also have a particle sensor, which is another thing I really love about this machine. So it detects the ambient pollution levels and operates automatically. So you can see in the picture here, that little like red, purple, blue bar. That's an example of how it literally reads what's happening in the environment around it and reacts to that. You can place it on manual operation when desired. Like, for example, if I, burn bacon or something, then I might turn it on high and let it run till it's aired out. Don't smell it anymore. But really, it's going to kick on and do what it needs to for anything, any scents or pollution products that are there that shouldn't be. So that's a really cool feature. And then you can see when it's reset based on the coloration there. So it'll go red when it's dramatic and it's upping the ante to clean the air. It'll start to go purple and then end up at blue when it's all good, when it's all safe to be back in the room. So that's where we're saying the air quality display shows the room air quality. And so that's another really big perk that I feel like a lot of machines are lacking, both that responsiveness and that clear communication of what's happening in the air around you. Okay, so it's also the KenkoAir Purifier is Energy Star rated. You definitely always want to be looking for this. It is 35% more efficient than a standard model, saves 215 kilowatt hours per year, and is achieved with environmentally friendly technology to use only 55 watts to cover 313 square feet, or 29 square meters for those of you not in the US. And so that's really important because we want it to be efficient also, which is also a big part of what Nikken's goal is. So really with the KenkoAir Purifier, you have clean air, clean house, clean lungs, clean body with a clean conscience. So with that, I'd love to share a story if that's okay. Yeah,
Please.
great. So recently, not so happy. Recently, nearby me, there was an explosion at a plant, a biolab plant nearby Decatur. And literally, we woke up one morning and the entire town smelled like chlorine and chemicals.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm not even very close to it. And we could smell it all the way here. We're, I don't know, maybe 18 miles away, something like that. And it was really bad. And they were even where I am, that far away. They evacuated the region close by, but even where I am, where we could smell it in Atlanta, they recommended that we turn off our air systems. It was hot here still, and we turned off our air in our buildings to keep the issues from the biolab smoke and smog from coming into our homes as much as possible. So it's not circulating in. So as we did that, first of all, it's really hot. And then we're circulating this, like we said earlier, not really very clean air unless you have a great air purifier and are running it constantly. And interestingly, when they told us that it was okay to, so first of all, immediately our air filters all went red and ran red almost constantly for hours. And it would like turn blue eventually and then kick back to red and turn blue and kick back to red. So I could really tell how actively that air was affecting our region as well. Even though they said it was safe, it clearly was not, which is disturbing in its own right. But anyway, the important point here, though, really is that they cleared the region and they said, we couldn't smell the chlorine anymore. We couldn't smell the chemicals anymore. And they said, okay, you can turn back on your air conditioning units, everything's fine, it's all safe. And as soon as we did, our filters turned bright red again. So in my house and at my office, we actually left them on off for weeks longer than was recommended until the filter stopped turning red. So I felt really like it was really unsafe to breathe where I was. And because of the KenkoAir purifier, I actually felt safe. And I felt like I could know that the air that my family and that my practice members, my participants were breathing, that I could guarantee that that was better than they were breathing anywhere else, even outside. So I just cannot speak highly enough of my experiences over the 20 years that I've been with Nikken with their air purifiers. I wouldn't trade it in for anything.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a wow story. Thank you so much for sharing. Awesome. So, with that, I'm going to stop the recording just right now and then invite anyone that would like to share a story, or if you perhaps have a question that you'd like to ask Dr. Liliana, because she's clearly an expert in so many things wellness.